I made this faster than light demo that had some math that I was playing with on Desmos first. The speed of light c and the velocity v, the distance, the nearest distance of the observer to some line, and the length of the thing being observed, kind of results in what you can see. This is when a thing is going the speed of light and is directly on you, then at this particular moment, at 0, this is a direct vertical line, so it doesn't actually draw right. But if you're a slight distance away from it and it passes you by, then you see it, all the light that it had at that same position at that same time. So you'd see it go, just a flash of what it is. This graph is time across the x-axis and position along the y-axis. I could wish that it was turned sideways, but f of x is easier to write this way about this. And I could change the speed of light, so then what's observed and for its position changes. Or I could change the velocity and go faster than the speed of light, and then at some time greater than 1.5 seconds, something, then, no, 0.1 seconds. Then you see it go off into the distance backwards and carry off forwards. And this line diagonal is like the speed of light, as one unit of space and 1 unit of time is the speed of light. See, but that's not exactly true. If the speed of light is faster, then I hit that going slower, because this is a native coordinate system that's based on a distance. This is 1 light second, so this is 1 second, and this is 1 light second. But now light is going faster, so with a slightly faster velocity, because I'm going at 1.2 instead of 1, whereas when I was at 1, oh, it's only 1/2 the speed of light is what you see it. Yeah, I guess if light goes faster, then that improves that slope. But this is based on this math. This is the distance, and this is the position of the thing, and they offset along the length of its body. So it's position squared plus its or the distance from this axis to the thing, like this. Like if it's this is the distance, and I could be right on the line, and then at the speed of light it sees exactly, hold on, I let that, this is going faster than the speed of light. There. So this is going exactly the speed of light, and I'm on the line. So all of these dots I see simultaneously. That's all of its previous positions. And then I see it carrying off forward, but only at 1/2 of its speed, actually. This is shorter. But depending on the distance you are from it, then there's now an offset to those. was strange. Why did that break? Then this passes you before you see it. And then when you do see it, you see a copy going backwards and a copy going forward that's contracted. And that's, if I go back down to reasonable speed of light, like 1, then, going very near 0, both sides of that line are basically the same. But as you get to 1/2 the speed of light, then it looks like it approaches you at slightly more than the speed of light, less than the speed of light, and then goes off slower. But it's not a straight line. If I set the distance to 0, then there's a direct inflection there. And that's, a point that this all pivots around. So most of the calculations of time are based on this line and not this negative time, because a thing traveling with the speed with light and a thing traveling with light trailing behind it have a different curve. I did also want to mention that this stationary observer relative to this moving body wouldn't have any of these contraction issues, because if it had a length, those points would be constantly emitting in all directions simultaneously, and whatever particular point this body is at, it's going to be able to find a point that point was. It's the difference between a stationary body constantly emitting, because these are going to be concentric circles of signals going outward. It's not necessarily a laser beam, but even if it was a laser beam, it's still going to be from that place, and then you're going to have to know when you would see it that you could send it backwards to intercept it ahead of time, sort of. But you can't just say, well, this observer and this other observer that's always at a straight line is always going to be that if you reverse the situation, that one's stationary and the other one's not, it doesn't really work that way. It doesn't apply. There is no contraction on this side, unless this was also moving slightly, and then maybe because of special relativity's time dilation, then that's because this is moving so fast, the time is scaled for this one, that it's any motion is enough to cause it to contract. But it's still expanded when it's going less than the speed of light. It's only going 2, and the speed of light is 4. And these photons that are going following these lines are marked when this passes that point. It's basically each frame of this, and then it follows, computes how long it would take to go across that line, and that animates the dots. And when they cross this point, it's when this bottom model updates, and this top model is this equation that I have modeled here with a distance offset and a length difference, because If the length is 3 light seconds long, then you're going to see it before you see the rest of it. Because this is time, and this is 0 time is when it passes the very closest to you in real time and your time.